Yo, assalamu alaikum, welcome back to another reaction video. Today we're reacting to this is a different video, it's a different type of video. I've never reacted to the type of video before. This is a reverting to Islam as a Chinese teenager. I don't know much about the Chinese culture. Don't know hardly anything, not gonna lie. But I do know they are very generally very conservative. I want to say they're majority are Buddhists, I think. No disrespect if I'm wrong about that, but not really, not really sure. I wanted to hear this though because it's a revert story. I love hearing revert stories. You know what I'm saying? I can't talk obviously. I myself I'm a revert. I will be doing my revert story. I'll probably do that soon, one day, tell y'all the whole story. But I am a revert, so I like to hear other revert stories. Let's jump into it, man. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Assalamu alaikum. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe so you can join the channel, join the chill tribe. We just chill, we watch videos, motivate each other, and try to be happy, especially during these tough times, pandemic.
Today I'm going to talk about why I converted to Islam, because this is like a big change from who I used to be in the past. For the people that know me in the past and whatnot, they know me as a completely different person. Like, I was not like this. It's kind of drastic and it's kind of difficult when people ask me like, why do you convert? Because I can't really say it within one sentence. Oh, this is why. You know, because there's just so many factors that it's hard to really put it in one sentence. Okay, yes, I believe in God now, and yes, my life has been better now. It's so much more than that. Mom and Dad, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. They're very disappointed in me, and I know that, but
that is something a lot of reverts have, you know what I'm saying? It's trouble with family and friends, man. That's
not something they can control, and I have realized it's my life, and everything that I do, it's up to me where I want to go in life. So yeah, my background, I'm Chinese. I was born in China, and then I moved to Montreal when I was 3 years old. So I live in Quebec and Ottawa my whole life, and also now I live in Toronto. But regardless, I'm born in China, but I never really went back. I have no connection with it. I can speak Mandarin, but I can't write it that well. So yes, I'm Han Chinese, which means I'm mainland China. I'm not an Uyghur. I'm not a Hui Chinese. I'm Han Chinese, which is just like the majority of Chinese people. And
I did not
most
know
people
anything about
there, they're very like anti-religion because of the environment that they're born in, obviously. Due to their
China, I think they're like, I think there's a lot of stuff going on with China and Muslims right now. Like, I don't know the details, so I'm not gonna speak on it, but I think it's very alarming. I think it's potentially very alarming.
There are political issues. Religion in China is not really prominent and is very, very heavily discouraged. So I won't even get into the complications of how.
Not even Buddhism?
I never really, I don't know, believed in God. Okay, well, there was always a part of me that kind of like wished on something. So I remember when I was like younger, I had this little, always a part of me that kind of like wished on something. So I remember when I was like younger, I had this little rock thing, this little bar of soap that I would kind of like talk to it as if I'm communicating to like the universe and whatever. And I would make wishes with it. For example, like I put stickers on it, like a heart sticker for like love, a star sticker for like fame, I don't know, a bunch of stickers on it. So I would hold the sticker and then make my wish or something like that. You know, when I was a kid, just like wishing on random stuff. There's moments where I try to connect with the greater universe because I feel like I've always been a really spiritual person. However, my family was not. My mom disliked religion because she was born in a small village in China and they were really into like shamanism and that type of like cults and whatnot. So she regarded all religions as something kind of like weird, kind of strange, kind of like dealing with the occult, kind of dangerous and kind of sketchy. Like, if you know Chinese people, they're generally pretty superstitious. Beware of Ouija boards, or like be careful of like there's certain colors and certain numbers in like Chinese culture that are like, you know, quote unquote suspicious and weird, you know. Like, she's just never believed in God. I think she believes in spirits, but not God.
Dangerous.
That's enough about my mom. And as for my dad, he is Buddhist, sort of, but not exactly. I mean, he believes in these principles and he occasionally meditates maybe like once a week. He has like one of those meditation beads. Other than that, he doesn't really practice it that much.
Interesting.
And
So I have a remote job where I work from home and work only 5 hours a week. But the craziest part is
That's
so
convenient.
yeah, I've lived in a very like kind of like agnostic, like no religion type of family situation. Living as a kid, moving around a lot, and living in Quebec and Montreal and Gatineau, it was not so fun. I was kind of like an outcast all my life in schools. I think it's due to racism now that I realize it now, because like there were just white kids everywhere and I was the only Chinese kid. So me being the outcast, this meant that
Yo, racism happens everywhere, man. I feel like people tend to act like racism only happens in uneducated areas or third world countries, second world countries. Yo, nobody ever talks about us. I don't know one second world country. Anyways, yeah, man, racism is everywhere, bro. Racism is across the globe, across the street, maybe even across the hall from your room. You don't even know. Like, racism is out here, bro.
I didn't want to fit in, but I also really did want to fit in. So I would kind of like coin myself as the weird kid. So I would always like do weird things, playing pranks on the teacher, or always like rebelling against the rules. Even when I moved to Ottawa through my high school years, felt pretty alone. This is like why I was pretty open to doing a lot of like, you know, wrong stuff. So it was really easy for me at a young age to get manipulated by the wrong crowd. I got into a lot of situations that were really like bad for me if I continued them long term, but I did not continue them long term. I've done more messed up things than most people that I know around me. And I don't even want to get into it because it's just it shocks people, honestly. I felt a little hollow inside sometimes. I've always was curious and want to try everything, and that's not really good if it's like things that are bad for you. When I moved to Toronto, I thought I would continue living my haram lifestyle, but I guess something changed. I met one of my friends and I became very close to this person. And I told this person, I'm looking for ways to, you know, be more spiritual. Like, I want to learn more about religions. Like, I've delved into like Taoism a little bit in the past. I read something about Taoism, about how like everything in the world springs from like the Tao, like the yin yang. Everything is like a giver, a receiver, kind of like the ins and outs of life, the day and night. Everything springs from it. The problem with Taoism is, for me, there's not enough like root. It's too much of a philosophy rather than a religion, if that makes sense. And I don't know, I wasn't really looking for a religion. So I told my friend I wanted to try, you know, meditation or something relaxing. And he's Muslim, so he's like, okay, why don't you try praying? And I'm like, okay. So I tried to. So I opened up YouTube and then I watched one of those like...
Shout out YouTube, man. YouTube pretty much got everything you need. YouTube. Shout out YouTube, man. I don't know what we do. What would we do without YouTube and Google, man? Oh, it's kind of scary, to be honest. We got amazing access to knowledge. And we are more forgetful of knowledge today. It's just scary. At least I know for myself. I can't speak for everybody else.
Prayer videos, you know, of like kind of like this instruction almost. It just with this person, you know, like praying, going down everything. I open the video and I'm like, oh my god, did they just say isn't that like a swear word? I was so ignorant. I was like so completely oblivious. But my parents used to tell me these stories. Like they would just be like, oh, I read on the news the other day that like this Muslim dad like drowned his daughter for not wearing hijab, blah, blah, blah. So like, you know, growing up, I did have Muslim friends as a kid, but like hearing all these stories, I'm like, okay. And they're like, don't ever become Muslim, don't ever marry Muslim. I'm like, of course I won't. Like, why would I? Like, no reason for me to.
That's the thing though, like our parents, our families, ourselves, we may be so quick to have our minds made up or set based on like outside sources that aren't firm sources, you know what I'm saying? Like the media, man, like I'm not saying the media doesn't bring positivity and bring information, but it also breeds negativity. You know what I'm saying? It does that. You know what I'm saying? That is a fact. Um, but then we go out and act upon the knowledge we gained from the news, and now we portray it on others and our kids and our friends, family, siblings, parents, and like we don't even. It's like you don't even know. It's just like you're so wrong that you don't even know you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my god, it's crazy.
Become it. I joke about it now, but it was very, very, very difficult for me. It was not something easy. It was definitely not something that.
I miss what she said.
Of course, I won't. Like, why would I? Like, no reason for me to become it. I joke about it now, but it was very, very, very difficult for me. It was not something easy. It was definitely not something that I could talk about with anybody. Like, even talking in front of like a camera right now makes me kind of anxious because I don't know what the world is gonna say to this. But then I tried praying, and then while I was doing it, there was this type of like obstruction feeling of one side of me that's like, what are you doing? Another part of me was like, this is right. And so that kind of feeling was kind of like fighting each other at first. And by the time I finished praying, I felt like so much lighter, if that makes sense. I just feel so much like how I probably should be feeling. Like my head is cleared. It feels good, but I'm gonna do a little bit of research on it. And I wasn't really looking at the right places. I searched up online. First thing I want to search up is Islam homophobic? And well, the thing is, if you search things up online, you're gonna end up in those type of boomer forums where a lot of old people who think they know a bunch of stuff just start talking about, yes, this.
Old people and young people, man. Ignorance, it does not care how old you are, race, religion. Ignorance is ignorance, man.
This, no, it's that, and they just start arguing in the posts. I converted a few months ago, last March, during quarantine. Corona time. Get it? It was not without many difficulties. So I prayed. I started pressuring myself because I kept thinking to myself, I'm not Arab. I know that's a really dumb thought. Obviously, there's a lot of Muslims in the world that are not
Facts.
Arab. But I also thought, like, I don't have, like, the cultural aspects that some people have. I don't have the connections. I never celebrated Eid. I never celebrated these kind of things. And
it's so funny, man. Like, I'll just wait to tell my story, but like I completely get where she's coming from. When I told my friends I wanted to become Muslim, some of them kind of like joked around with me. They said, "You're not Muslim. Like, stop joking." And I'm like, "No, I'm serious." And they're like, "Yeah, right." And I'm like, "No, I'm serious." Like, and they kind of didn't believe me. And eventually, I kind of got to a point where I thought, okay, enough playing around. You're basically pretending. This voice in my head was telling me, you're basically pretending. You're just pretending this. This is just a phase. Converting was the hardest decision of my life because I know my family would hate it. And I was right. They hated it. They were so terrified. They thought I got brainwashed. They call me this. They call me that. They call me every dirty name. It's hard for them to accept because they're from a different generation. One side of my head said, if you become Muslim, there's no way you're going back. You're in it for life. There's another part of me realized I've kind of been a believer my entire life. I've kind of always noticed love and been driven by emotions and been driven by friendship, courage. In a way, converting to Islam does not feel like I'm changing from who I am into someone else. It is more so changing from someone I'm not to someone that I am. There's this quote that says, in life, we have to unlearn what we've been taught to remember what we've always known. But there was moments of skepticism. While looking out my apartment window that I lived in at the time, I was asking for God for a sign. I was looking out and I just thought, come on, okay, listen, just make some car drive by and that's gonna be my sign. That's gonna be my sign. Or make something happen outside. And this is Yo, I'm acting like I didn't. I'm acting like I didn't do that. I definitely did. I think everybody's done that at some point in their life.
In quarantine, so like nobody's outside at night. And so I look out the window among the cities and the skyscrapers. So I waited. I can be patient. There was no sign. There was no sign because the sign has been with me all this time. Does that make sense? This feeling, this overwhelming feeling washed over me as I sat there on my bed looking out of my apartment window. I don't need a sign. My life has been a sign. I just haven't been counting them as signs. All these things we're going through in my life, all these good things, all these blessings, and I have not even counted any of them as signs. I just thought everything was the way it was for just whatever reason that it was. Things happened just because. I never really regarded them as signs. And I think about all these things that I wished for. And at that moment in life, I had everything that I wished for. I used to pray. I used to really wish. I used to hope with all my heart that I would get into film school in Ryerson in Toronto. And I got in. And on every one of my birthdays, when I blow out the candles, I make a wish and I wish I have a good life. I wish I learn. I wish I gain wisdom. I probably should have wished for something more tangible, because if you wish for wisdom, Allah will put you through all the harsh things so you learn about the wisdom. I did learn. I learned from all the things I've done, all the messed up things I've done. And it's all these signs that I've been neglecting. Everything has been a sign. Look for signs.
That was a funny edit.
The reason you don't see signs is because you're not counting them as signs.
It's facts.
If you're
so many signs, man, every day. Every year, every month, every week, every interaction you have, like, it's so hard to, like, I was talking to my wife about this, like, it's so hard to tell if something is a sign or if it's not a sign. It's so hard to tell if a sign is telling you to go left or go right. It's so hard to understand if you're overthinking the sign, which isn't even a sign at all. You know what I'm saying? And she told me something, she was like, man, if it's a sign, you'll know it's a sign. You won't have doubt. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate that, man. Shout out to my wife.
Driving a car and you see a traffic light, and then you never even learned about traffic. You never even sat in a car. You never know anything about traffic lights and cars. When you see the red and you're trying to drive and stuff, you have no idea what that means. You just think it's whatever. It's probably just decoration. Not a sign unless you count it as one. I still have bad habits that I'm trying to curb. I'm not a perfect person, and I realize nobody really is.
Facts.
I used to thought to be a good Muslim, you have to be free of sin. You have to be some sort of pure person. I'm obviously not. Converting to Islam was the most challenging thing that has ever happened to me.
When I converted, I thought I became, basically what I'm trying to say is, like, a lot of times when we look into different religions or compare religions, we tend to compare people by their actions. And we got to remember, like, man, just that you aren't perfect, I'm not perfect, other people aren't perfect. So you can choose any religion in the world, you could choose any political party, you could choose anything of anything, you know what I'm saying, race, religion, sport, like, it doesn't matter, like, nobody's perfect. And so if you judge that based on that person, then you're not going to do anything, you know what I'm saying? And so when I became Muslim, I was like, man, when I started to see different things that contradicted what Muslims were supposed to be doing, I was like, wow, man, I'm really shocked. I thought this was like the best of the best. I thought this was something where everybody had the same feeling that I had, you know what I'm saying, the same drive, the same want to be the best they can be, you know what I'm saying. And then I just had to realize, like, you know what I'm saying, just like how I still make mistakes, you know what I'm saying, I still do stuff that, you know, I'm not proud of, you know, they are the same way, you know what I'm saying. And it's not the people that make the religion perfect. The religion is perfect. The people are the ones who make mistakes, you know what I'm saying. But it's crazy. I mean, to me, Islam is the perfect religion if you take the religion for the religion, not based on people, you know what I'm saying.
I felt like my life was on the line. Like, I just feel like, who am I? And I thought I needed to, and I felt like I couldn't. At the end of the day, we rely too much on external signs and we forget every internal sign, every feeling of joy, every feeling of sadness. These are all signs.
Yo, that was a great story, man. I really appreciate hearing that Converse story, man. A Reverse story. I want to watch more Reverse stories and react to them and everything. Just so I also want to do my own Reverse story because I feel like it's can be beneficial to any person. You know what I'm saying? At least one person. Just how this was probably beneficial to at least one person. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate it. Sharing your story, sister. Anyways, that's the end of this video, man. Comment down below if you have any video requests, comments, concerns, likes, dislikes. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the like button so you can come back and hang out with us. All right. Peace. Assalamu alaikum.